Hello, everyone. We are here with the Survivor Now after show for the finale of Survivor 47. No, I'm not Randy. Don't know why he's not here. We're just going to pretend it's because he didn't like the outcome, so he just couldn't do the show. So I am now here in his place. I'm joking. Love you really, Randy. But I'm filling in for Andy this week. And of course, as always, joining me this week, but always in the after show, we have the lovely Bruce. Bruce, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm tired. Somewhat of a little bit of a late night last night, going to Bryson Wynn, enjoying that party in New York. But I'm ready to rock. Let's make it happen.
Nice. Now, I will get to Bryson Wynn, don't you worry. But we also have our other analyst, Josh. Josh, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I not as late of a night last night because Central Time is an hour ahead, but also the watch party in Milwaukee, Wisconsin is not quite as hype as the Bryson Wendell event. But Andrea Belke hosted a really awesome watch party at a bar in Milwaukee. Nice. And so it's the second time I've gone to one of those, and it was a really great time. So great finale watching experience, and really excited to talk about it.
Nice. Well,
I'm gonna get out to Milwaukee.
Come through, man. It's a great place.
I'll join you at some point. I'll try. I was going to say, you've been to two more watch parties than me, so don't worry. But we have had the finale. We have crowned a winner. So I just want to get both of your initial thoughts. The finale. What did you think of it overall? I'll start with you, Bruce.
Overall, the finale was exactly what was expected. I had a very good feeling that just kind of going back to the Final Four, Teeny was going to somehow, some way not make it through. I kind of felt bad in some sense of the word that, or feeling that she didn't make it, but I didn't expect her to. So with that, It's okay in my mind that she didn't make it. And then the way that things all kind of worked out, I'm still trying to put my head on this and who won, like who got third and who got second. I think Sam got second. He got 1 vote, and then Sue got 0. And I said on this podcast, I said if it would have been unanimous if Rachel would have been there with Teeny and Sue, I think. But it kind of the proof is in the pudding. That's what happened. Like there's one stray vote, and it went to Sam. And then just the overall win, like I enjoyed it. Like I love the idea that they were combative with each other, but they were not disrespectful. And it's okay. That is okay. It's all right to be like, no, you're not right. This is what happened. Or no, you didn't help that person. Yeah. I did it. Oh, no, neither of us had anything to do with it. Like, so that's what I love. I love a little bit of confrontation without the disrespect. The jury was great, having the conversation with them, asking them questions, sitting back, all surprised when they got an answer. But it was overall chef's kiss.
I was going to say, we will get to the kind of final tribal council because in the words of Kenzie, it was spicy. Josh, before I get your thoughts on things, I just want to show this comment from Roy because he has just tipped us. Roy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this is because, not to put you on blast, Roy, but for the entire season, Roy has thought that Rachel was going to lose fire. So we love that man that can stand corrected. But Josh, the finale, what did you think?
My first thought is it was really cool to see Rachel win the way she did. She is a really fun and satisfying winner to this season. And that was kind of the outcome everyone was expecting and everyone was hoping for going into this finale. And while sometimes there are, Survivor history is filled with like some great people who fell just short, and like those stories are great in their own right. It is really satisfying sometimes to see the one that like everybody's rooting for, like the underdog actually like pull it off and win. So it's great that happened. I think I have my qualms with formatting things and all of that, which like objectively as a finale, as a Survivor episode, whatever. But I think the primary thought above all of that is that it's great that Rachel won. I'm really happy she won. At the party I was at last night, it was, they were taking a pulse, like, oh, who's rooting for Teeny? Who's rooting for? And like everybody was rooting for Rachel, and I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I was going to say in the polls that we did for Got Something For You, and even the polls that me and Randy did for the pre-show last night, there was an overwhelming majority for Rachel. I will admit, I was one of those skeptic people that were like, "Is this too good to be true?" And it made me think that maybe Sam was winning, just because I was like, "This just seems like too nice." Like Survivor aren't going to let us just have this lovely cake. They're going to like throw it to the side and give you like just the tray bake. But I'm happy they didn't. We will talk about Rachel. I mean, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, you should have. Rachel did win. Well done, Rachel. But I want to go to the immunity challenge because I feel like this is where we saw the kind of start of things. First of all, this is different than what we've kind of seen recently. We haven't really seen an obstacle course for the final immunity challenge. Thoughts on that? Love it.
Sorry, that was a little premature. Love it. Love it, man. It was, listen, I'm telling you, I've said it a million and one times, and I always keep saying that for some strange reason, but I'm going to keep saying it. Hell with it. I love the fact, I love the fact that the great equalizer is a puzzle. Yeah. It is, but the way that on this, the great equalizer was the second part of the challenge, like throwing that ball. Everybody beat Sam. Everybody. Yeah. And it's like he was the first one there. Granted, it was 2 steps ahead of Rachel, but he was the first one there. So that neutralized him. Then he came back and potentially he was close on the puzzle, but he turned and looked at her. It was like, what am I like? Let's figure it out. That took away time from you. Who knows how far along she was due to editing, but it's I love that because you're in it, you're out of it, you're in it, you're out of it. They need to keep that going. Don't make it static anymore. Don't bring the same exact thing. Just give us something new.
Yeah, I definitely like what you kind of mentioned it as well. Like I loved the fact that you got Sam that got to the throwing the ball thing first, and then Rachel did that first. Sam got to the combo lock, figured it out straight away, and then was right back in the lead. And then Rachel came up in the end. Josh, thoughts and feelings?
I think it's fun. I think challenges like that are a lot more dynamic than, stacking things or balancing things or whatever. Like, and I get it. There's a place for those challenges too. And, I think that there is something like classic Survivor about like an endurance type challenge being the final one. But I think that, I don't know, compared to a lot of the just like, stand here and balance this thing or like stack this thing up. I think that the story challenge is a lot more fun and riveting as like a final push to the win because really, I mean, the way I saw it, and according to Rachel, the way she saw it herself too, it's like, she won the challenge. She had it in the bag. So rooting for her to win that final challenge. And then when she did, it was really exciting to root for in a way that was more fun than it would have been if they were just like stacking things up or whatever. So, yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, well, they had the kind of dexterity one the round before with the stacking things. And I like that they did that there because I do think with the fact that they kind of split the finale into 2, I feel like they needed kind of something big and bold for this final like challenge to really like make us remember. Like if they'd given us that dexterity, I'd have been like, yeah, cool.
If they only one challenge and it was a boring one, like it was smart of them to do that.
No, how I'm very intrigued to know what Bruce, you've been on the island as well. How do you think you would have fared with this one?
I think it would have been just fine. It would have been just fine. Like, all right, let me do it and have people drag me. I love challenges. I will dial in and I will beat 8 out of 10 people. Like I know that for a fact. I'm gonna be in the final leg of what's going on, and at my ripe old age, I'm still gonna give you a little bit of something, let you know that I'm there. But looking at this final challenge, I'm like, yo, this was really cool. Like go through the mud. That Sam even said it. He's moving the thing. I can't see because he had mud in his eyes. Like that's another factor that's gonna come into play. And then it's just these things are done in a way that it's every single one of them have a strength, and they're only using one of their strengths.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing, you just mentioned the mud. Do we not remember this was the entire season where people were smart enough to put their like buffs over or under, covering their eyes so they didn't get hit with mud? And it's like the final challenge. Everyone forgot to do that. And I remember seeing Sam doing it. I've seen Teeny doing it. I know for a fact Sue and Rachel have both done it. And I watched them and I was like, you've covered your eyes from mud before. You didn't do it this time. And I feel like that shows the 25 days of fatigue that they were like, oh yeah, I could have done that.
Where do they have their buffs? Because what they do is if it's something like that, I'm trying to think, if it's something like that, like they're in the mud and the microphone would be under the water, they had to either have it around their neck. I can't remember where their buffs were, because when they put it around their neck, you get a microphone that goes inside, and that's where the mic is.
Yeah,
I don't remember. Someone please in the comments let us know where the buffs were.
We've got a couple of chats here. Roy in the chat says a lot of people are saying they flipped the last two challenges due to needing a longer challenge to fill the time for the finale, since it was split into two. So that's probably why we may have seen that dexterity one come in at the end instead. And also, we have a lovely comment for you, Bruce. You need a spot on Survivor 50. And we all agree as well.
Yeah, I want 51 or 52, hell, even 53, but I don't want 50.
Well, right now, that's the one that you might want to go for at this point, because I don't know what they're going to do with returnees. I want them to do more returnees, but
that would be nice. Sprinkle us in somewhere, but it's they're gonna spend all their money on 50, and it's gonna be a while before it changes something.
That's very fair. I mean, they sprinkled you back into 45, and look what happened. So they should know. Bring them back to back.
Good stuff happens when the returnees come back.
That's very true. So obviously Rachel wins the immunity, and she has cemented herself in a elite group of women. Only 4 other females have won 4 individual immunities. Josh, I'm going to put you on the spot. What 4 were they?
Yeah, it was Chrissy Hoffbeck from Heroes Heroes Hustlers. It was Kim Spradlin. It was Jenna Maraska, and it was Kelly Wigglesworth in the very first season.
Well done. I know that me and you are like the 2 big Survivor buff people. And
it does help that they did show their faces too.
True.
I would have been like blonde, brunette.
I was thinking about this past week leading up to it. I'm like, was it 4 or was there a 5th one too?
No, it was only ever 4. Yeah. Rachel now has cemented herself in that elite group. Before we even get to like her mentioning that is such an incredible like feat, because you see there's even like with the guys, there's only a select few that have won 5 individual immunities. We saw this season Kyle almost could have beaten that record. This season it seemed like there was kind of a fair few people, only 2. I say only 2. Roman, what are their names? Rachel and Kyle. They were really kind of the comp beasts this season.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think that if one of them had gone earlier, we would have seen a really big kind of immunity run from the other? And I'm going to ask our resident comp beast, Bruce, because you did win 2 or 3 individual immunities too.
I won 2. I should have won 3, but I won 2. I don't think that there would have been that. No. Nope. If Rachel would have gone out, if Saul wouldn't have saved her. And I think that it would have been sprinkled around a little bit more. Would have left the door open for maybe Sierra to potentially have one. Not Sierra, I'm sorry. Sue could have won another one because she's a beast. Like she is. Yeah. She could have won another one. Very well could have had done what Sam. Sam could have had another one.
Genevieve was pretty close.
Genevieve.
You know what? She was close, but
Genevieve and Teeny are the ones who beat Kyle in that one, in that weird split round where Tiana went home. Like where Kyle he won immunity, but he technically came in 3rd. Like that. Genevieve and Teeny beat him in that one.
Well, this is the thing, like, especially in the late kind of portion of the game, Genevieve really, like, and Sam as well, but Genevieve, we saw her really at the end of a couple of them. Like, I think the final 7 one, obviously the final 5 one, it was her and Rachel. So you never know. We could have seen, we could be sitting here now, if anything was different, calling Genevieve a comp beast and possibly the winner. We just need to see this. We have Avery in the chat. Love you, Avery. So Rachel wins immunity. She has guaranteed her spot in the final tribal council, and she's very open about who she's bringing. She literally went, Sue's loyal, Sue's coming. Sam and Teenie, you might want to go practice fire. I appreciate this. I appreciated how upfront she was just from the very start, and even at kind of tribal. Do you think that was the right pick for her? Like, do you think that was the right choice?
Yeah, Josh, let's you go first. I could get long-winded on this one.
I mean, I can too, but I think that she was. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there was a wrong choice for her, really, given that she, like, you know, you're not getting too far ahead of things. Like, it was like a really contentious final tribal council, but she still won 7-1. So it's like there was not really a wrong choice there. I guess the wrong choice would have been putting herself in and losing, but she didn't need to do that. Yeah. I think she just had like such a clear lead, and the jury was like so behind her and so respecting her that there wasn't like she was really playing with house money at that point. Like, there was really hard to go wrong. Sue probably would have had a better shot at beating Sam. But again, it's like, what do you want to like which game do you want to play there? Like, do you want to like have Sue with you and like honor that loyalty, and then like, you know, if she loses and she's salty about it and you're like the reason that she went home, like that's like pretty risky when I don't know. And like you said, you know, she coached Teenie, and Teenie had it. She did it. I mean, they like they had a fire going real strong. So it's not like, you know, in a lot of ways Rachel did make the right choice, and it was just like the wind that did it. Anyway, I'm getting a little far ahead of ourselves, but I don't think there was a wrong choice in the matter.
No, I was going to say that's fine. Bruce, you go ahead before I
go. They need to talk to that production person that was sitting behind Teenie and just kick on that thing. Because there's no way in hell. There is no way. I'm looking at the way that fire was in front of her. Like Jeff even said it. Teenie's got an inferno, and it's like this high in front of her, and it's going through the rope, and all of a sudden it's laying down equally as far as it is high. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? And I, you know, she had a great fire going. She had a great strategy, and it's just, this is one of the great things of never give up on what it is that you're doing. And Sam, I listened to the interview with Sam. He had said he, you know, didn't practice on fire, blah, 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 blah. Sam, you know, ain't no way in hell you didn't practice on fire, man. Everybody does. Everybody does. Even if you have I got an email back. I gotta buy a flint. I gotta do this like that. Like, I gotta sleep outside in the ground. Like, everybody does that. So I'm gonna take your word for it, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, But as far as I'm going to take on a tangent, as far as for who Rachel brought, that no matter what she was winning, in my mind, no matter what she was winning because of her resume was amazing. But again, like Josh had said, if she took Sue, put Sue in fire, and Sue lost, so she potentially loses a vote from Sue. Like, we were supposed to be loyal to each other. Now you're taking it. Sue's face lit up when she found out that she was going to be able to go to the final 3. Like, she was happy as hell. Like, everybody be happy as hell. You're doing it. Just sit back and be like, oh, all right, cool. And then just try to work on your resume. One thing about that, I know we'll probably talk about it a little bit. I had a moment. I'm sitting there. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is Teenie getting so mad that she's going to do fire against Sam? Like, and then not even getting mad at Rachel. She's getting mad at Sam. What do you think? Yeah, there you are. Don't talk to that. Oh, well, happy to do fire. Like, it was like, if you really never practiced, this made sense. But she was like trying to read through the bullshit of what Sam was saying, and it had like that much validity to it. So whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say that little interaction was hilarious to me because it was literally like all Sam did was just like raise an eyebrow, and Teeny fully just went. I was like, oh my god, girl. I was like,
the lack of things, and we can't like. She's like, you like what? Oh,
it was
bleep
that.
I'm gonna throw a hand of sand at you.
Literally, I was like, I know me and Bruce have like a little bit of a potty mouth, but I think like at that point she would have given us a run for our money. But it was almost that thing with Teeny, like she was already getting in their head.
Yeah.
Because it was very much like, okay, it's me and Sam. And I think the fact that they already then kind of figured out, yeah, I'm going into fire. I feel like they just let their emotions go full throttle again. Yeah. But I appreciate Rachel coaching. I will admit, when I agree with you, Bruce, when it comes to the fire part, like with Sam, I don't care who you are. Like, even though I would never be able to play Survivor right now, I will still buy a Flint if I need to, just in case. You never know who will call. Like, Survivor Quebec could ask me. I don't know.
I met him last night, by the way. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I met him last night. This dude, I'm like, he gave me such like baby Jeff energy. I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? He was yes.
I was gonna say
it was awesome to talk to him last night. So
good. Is Survivor Quebec? Sorry, total rabbit trail now. But is Survivor Quebec? Is that like a YouTube thing or is that like an actual TV series?
No, I believe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a TV series. I talked to him last night, and like, because I asked him, like, "Yo, because I never seen it, and I heard about it, but I never really knew about it." But it's all in French though.
Yeah, it's all in French.
He's saying to the producer, like, I guess he's just trying to get the producers or whoever, the bigwigs to be like, yo, put subtitles in because there's a great market, like other people will watch. And I guess he was being told nobody watches Survivor outside of, no one's going to watch Quebec. Like, no, they stay in their pods. Like, what?
He has no idea.
No, I fully watched Quebec, and I had to find one that had already got subtitles on it. So I can, let Martin know. If you watch this, I have seen Survivor Quebec. It is good. Me and Randy were talking about possibly next year trying to even watch the next season and recap it here. That's to be determined. But yeah, no, Survivor Quebec is good. It does need
good to know.
Yeah, Sweet. It is worth the watch.
I love our tangents we go on. This is good stuff.
I know. We love it. Going back to the fire making for 47, though. Roy has put in the chat, absolutely the right pick. Loyalty deserves respect, and I completely agree. I think that moment showed Sue's loyalty really worked for her. And I'm saying that as someone who really was a critic against her loyalty for the majority of the season until these last 3 episodes. When it came to that fire making, because Bruce, you have seen fire making happen. It was Katora versus Jake and 45, if I remember correctly. What is that feeling like when you're watching them make the fire? Because, I mean, this one, it was like an absolute roller coaster of emotions. I know it was kind of similar in 45, but it almost feels like there is just this energy in the air when that part happens.
Yeah, because everybody knows who they want to win. We know who we want. We have no say in who's going to win, and we don't know who's going at it. And then we finally find out, and it's like, okay, all right, Jake and Katora, Jake, you better pop something off. And that was my thought at the time. And he did. He made fire. I think record time. Like he was fast. And in 44 there was record time. I think he broke that one. But but it becomes like you lean forward and you're just like, oh man, let's go. And then you start critiquing a little bit, and then like Jake didn't give us enough time to really critique. Like I'm watching and Sam's like chunking away, and I'm like, oh my god, shave it, don't clog it. What are you like? That's me sitting on the outside. Like when you're sitting in the jury, you can't say anything, but just kind of like this. And then when they win, it's like you give a little bit of a roar, and Jeff doesn't yell at you for that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's electric.
I was going to say there was a roar this time. Like Josh, I'm going straight to you. The fire making. It started off slow. It definitely seemed like both of them had an idea of what they wanted to do. And then it was just like, Teeny's got it. Sam's got it. Teeny's got it. Teeny's got it. Teeny's got it. Sam comes out of nowhere. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was crazy that like Teeny did it. They did what they were supposed to do. They made a fire that was like, however many inches high, like that high enough to burn the rope before Sam had anything going. It was just like the wind and like the placement of the rope. And I was watching at one point, like the wind just had it like completely flat. So even if Teeny were to have like, taken like some sticks and like moved the fire like closer to them, like I still don't think it would have mattered because it wasn't going up. It was like, it was huge, but it was like the wind was taking it in a different way. So I really don't know what Teeny could have done. And I heard some people like on podcasts or online saying like, oh, they should have just like thrown everything in there and just like put, made it like, just like, thrown everything at the wall. But I don't know if I would have done it. I think that it was just like they got a bad spot. They beat a fire. They built a fire way quicker than Sam did. A substantial big fire. So, ultimately, I don't think it would have mattered anyway. I mean, I think it's a difference of like $10,000-$20,000 in like Teeny's bank account. That that's not insignificant. But I think like neither one was going to win. So it ultimately at the end of the day, it's like a huge. But,
I was going to say, well, you say that. When I was watching it, obviously, because Sam was in my draft, I was obviously, there was me rooting for Sam. I was there like, you are my lone soldier. I need you to make it to final tribal. So it doesn't say on the photo, wiped out.
Oh, man. So must be nice. Must be nice.
Well, I was going to say, it is the bottom three here tonight. So.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bottom three.
10, bottom three.
We'll top three next season. Top three next season.
I you know what? If you guys want to say you win next season, feel free because I just want to be the guy that's going to be not in last. That's all I want to do. I want to avoid last. Sorry, bro.
I
saw that. I'm like, woo! Not last place.
Yeah.
More thoughts on the draft later if we want to go there.
But. we will get to the draft. But no, with Sam, like I really, there was a point I was sat there and I was like, he's dead in the water. He's screwed. I was like, he's got it in his head. Like, because of what happened previously, and he'd read the note from his dad, and we saw that really vulnerable moment of him, which I thought was really nice to see, because we kind of saw little snippets of it, but this was kind of the first time we really saw his emotions. I was scared, and I thought, like, oh, he's just given up. And then he kind of actually did what I think it was one of you who mentioned it. He kind of just got that spark, had it flaming, and then he kind of just started throwing stuff at the wall to see what would stick, and then just kept going from there. And then he managed to win. And I actually think it was that come from behind out of nowhere to victory that it did kind of seem to resonate with the jury. I'll admit, I was watching it and I was like, I definitely think that gave him some points with the jury because he was able to overcome that and it kind of worked with his story. I feel like if Teeny had have won it, it would have just been a sense of like, Teeny won it. Cool. I think Sam was able to win it and then kind of make it tie into his game and like put the little bow on his game. There is one thing, though, I want to ask both of you about because you both kind of alluded to it. Rachel had no reason to put herself in the fire. Now, we saw this happen in 43, and there was a completely different outcome. Cassidy won immunity. She said, I've already won. I don't need to do another challenge to get myself to the end. And we saw how that jury reacted to that. Why do you think it was different this time with Rachel? Because both times, I'm going to say this now, and I happily say this, both times, and this is something I always think, if you've won the final immunity, you don't have to go to fire. That is just my opinion. Anyone that disagrees with me, fight me on Twitter. I am one of those people, you've earned yourself immunity. Why are you going to put yourself at risk if you already know you've got a spot in the final tribal? So, and I really enjoyed this season that like the jury kind of just ignored it. bloody loved it. But why do you think that was?
I think a big difference between Cassidy and Rachel is because I'm with you. Like, putting yourself in fire, I get why Chris Underwood did it, and I get why Natalie Anderson would have done it, and whereas it more had she done it. That aside, it's stupid. I mean, the Final Four fire making in general is like beyond stupid in ways that I could go on and on about. But like putting yourself in when you've already won and earned your way in is like what are you doing? You have nothing more to prove, and like acting like you need to prove something more to the jury just shows like that you don't trust your own game. Yeah, and I think what Cassidy like. I don't know. I've heard people say that the argument she should have said was more like, listen, like the plan was to take Jesse out, and I did that. I pulled all the strings to make that happen without putting myself at risk. Like that was the angle she should have taken, rather than just like, oh, my game was good enough, I didn't need it. But I think the difference between the two of them is that going into the Final Four, Jesse was the guy to beat. And when Cassidy won immunity, she needed to still find a way to like take Jesse out. When going into the Final Four of this season, Rachel was the person to beat. And all Rachel needed to do was get to the Final Three. When that wasn't the case with Cassidy. Cassidy needed to like get to the Final Three without Jesse.
Yeah. You know, the simple fact of the matter is you don't owe anybody shit. If you make it to the final one, and you're sitting there, and again, Josh, you said it, why would you put yourself in jeopardy? You are in the final three. Now, the difference between 4 and 3 is like 10 grand. Like, that is what it is. But the potential, one out of 3 shot, with the resume that Rachel had to be able to win $1 million, after taxes, you know, $560, but whatever. But unless you're from Canada.
After Obama gets his hands on it.
But it's like you have the ability to now sit there and now you see your own way to the million. You got to see it. You got to see it like Rachel did when you're laying in the water and you're like, okay, I got the 3 of you. Who is it that I want to potentially get out of here? But who can I deal with if they make it? Oh, okay. Sue, come with me. Come on, Mama Bird. You're gonna come with me, sit in the side of me. You'll be good to go. You'll get 2 votes and call it a day. Teeny, you're gonna go with Sam. If Sam, you make it, I'm gonna have to really hype up what I've done in this game and knock you down. Teeny, if you make it, your resume speaks for itself. That you really were on the wrong side of the vote a lot, and you know there were parts of your game that didn't make sense, and you know what did you win, what didn't you win? You couldn't keep your mouth shut there. And I'm not saying this out of it. I'm saying out of the edit. Okay, this is not me personally attacking her. I'm just saying it's out of the edit. That it was even said you can't keep a secret, so you blabbed everything to everybody else. She could have turned around and just been like, yo, if Teeny was sitting beside, do you remember what you said when I was creeping in? Because she didn't even mention that. Like, I was laying in the sand listening to y'all talk junk, and that's why I played what I played to get me to the position that I was at. Like, Rachel has so much firepower. But to sit there and say, oh, she should have put herself in fire if she really wanted to be the ultimate winner. No. Now you're winning the gamut of now you have the 50-50 chance of not even coming in third. So, nope, bye. She did a great job.
No, I completely agree. My whole thing, like I said, if people feel like you win immunity and have to play fire because of some opinion that some arrogant little fan decided was the Bible of Survivor, no. I think, and I appreciated that Rachel said it before even fire started. This is one of the good things about Rachel. Like, she is so good at kind of already doing the damage control before it's even happened. Like, she literally went there. She was like, I've won immunity. Why am I going to do just another challenge? I was like, chef's kiss. Because that wasn't... That also, I feel like, wasn't to the jury. That was also to the fans to be like, calm yourself.
And her words exactly were like, I don't think I need to give it up to do another challenge and prove whatever that proves.
Yeah.
Like, that was perfect. Like, to not even like give it the dignity of being like, oh, this proves that I deserve it. It's just like, just prove, pause. whatever that proves. Like I feel like I felt so seen, and I feel like that was just a shout out to like fans and Final Four Fire making haters like everywhere. Like that was perfect.
Yeah, but Sam, obviously, like we said, Sam kind of wins in this very dramatic fashion, which was actually very enjoyable to watch, and it meant that I was still in the game for my drama. I didn't get worked out, but unfortunately, we did lose Teeny. Gentlemen, each of you summarize Teeny's game. Like watching the entire season, you know, at the end of the day, they made it to Final Four.
Yeah.
I'll give them their flowers where they deserve it, but how would you kind of sum up Teeny's game now that the season is over?
Oh man, it's tough. I mean, off the bat, I just want to give Teeny their flowers for like showing the like remarkable, truly remarkable like self-awareness and emotional maturity and like I don't know. They clearly had to go through a lot in life, had to like figure a whole lot out and like work through a lot of like confidence things, like they were talking about at the Final Four Tribal Council. Like that's a lot. Like the way that they articulate all of that at 23 is like crazy. So before getting off the bat, utmost respect for Teeny as a person. They seem like a blast to hang out with. Yeah. That being said, I feel like their game was good to get to the Final 3, Final 4, Final 5. I did not really see a path for Teeny to win. Mm-hmm. It seemed like it was just kind of like gravitating towards wherever the power was. And like, you know, especially in the early merge, they were like trying to make things happen, but never really getting their feet under them, never really getting their way, never quite having that influence to really make things work. So they just kind of like, I don't know, latched on to wherever the power was. Mm-hmm. And I think that was really evident in after Caroline got blindsided, like immediately, the second they get back, they go with Andy and Sam and Genevieve, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's us." You know, here's all the stuff about Rachel, blah blah blah. Like, flips on Rachel and Sue immediately, even though they didn't need to. Like, Teeny had like stuck to their guns with Rachel and Sue. Those three plus the block vote, like that's a majority. So like, Teeny did not need to do that. Mm-hmm. You know, and it reminds me too of like the very beginning of the season when it was like Teeny and Keyshawn and they were in the middle, and Teeny like had this connection with Asia because she recognized Asia from RHAP and was like, "Oh, I want to work with you." That was cool, but then Rome has this idol and Rome's doing this, so that means I guess I kind of have to work with Rome. When, you know, no, you don't. Like you can work around that. You don't have to, but like it's the easier, safer thing to do to get further, to just like kind of latch on to like where the power is, but that's not really a winning game. So I think I think given that approach, I think Teeny did exactly as well as like Teeny could have hoped, you know.
So still confirming you still think Asia was robbed?
I think robbed is a little dramatic. I do think that like 9 times out of 10, Asia does make a deep run. I think that a lot of things went wrong for Asia, and if Asia were to come back in a returning season, I would 100% draft her again. So.
Well done. Okay, Bruce, final thoughts before we go for a little break.
All right, so I'm going to back 90% of what you just said, Josh. The other 10% we don't know. We don't know how Teeny's mental was during this point in time. And I don't want to say like, you know, it's a deep, you know, go deep into Teeny's head and be like, "Oh, this is what you were thinking." I would never do that. But how Teeny was able to react to certain situations, we kind of got a piece of it. You know, when Teeny comes back and she's like ape shit because she wasn't chosen to go on a reward. I have a very good feeling in my mind that the other people that were there watching her like, what have you done to get that? And again, from the edit, I love Teeny. Teeny, I can't wait to hang out with you. Hopefully you're watching. I can't wait to hang out with you. Like, I really cannot wait. Like, this dysfunctional family, which is a Survivor family, we are absolutely amazing. But it's that level of and I will not mention names, but it's a level of being in this game. There are a couple of people that have played it, and that sense of everybody's like, oh, Teeny's so in tune with who Teeny is, and I got that. I understand that, and I love the growth arc that Teeny had throughout this entire thing. But there's also a level of Grangia that some people don't get in check. You will not get it put in check while you're out there on the island, because nobody wants to ruffle really anybody's feathers unless you really, really get pissed off by someone. Like, look at my scenario. I had someone that could not stand the ground that I walked on. Every time I took a breath, it's like, oh, will you shut up? Like, internally, but never said it to me. So, you know what I'm saying? So there's never anybody being checked. What's that?
I said, Bruce, I've apologized for my coverage of 45. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But if Teeny plays again, let Teeny be older, please.
Oh yeah,
please. 23-year-old Teeny. I love what you went through in the season. I really do, and you're, like I said, self-awareness. But I want to see 30-year-old Teeny playing this game. I really do. And shout out to season 48 that's coming up. I believe I met the youngest person through whatever. Shut up, Bruce. But the fact is that this cast is 30 and older pretty much. And it's going to be bonkers to me. That's going to be so bonkers. It's going to be, the thought process is completely different from anyone under the age of 30. And I'm not throwing shade at anybody, but life experience happens,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think, I remember during the Winners at War finale when Jeff is like, oh, yeah, we want teenagers on this show. And I'm just like, oh, no, please, no. And like every time, no shade to all the 18 and 19-year-olds who come on the show. It's not you, but it's just like, even we see like Teeny having this experience at 23 and even Sam at 24, like there's some stuff there. And granted, there have been people who 25 and under who have played like really good games. But I think for the most part, I think just a few more years of like life experience does help a ton.
We're not judging them. We're judging the fact that the year they were born was past 2000. That's what we're doing.
That damn calendar.
That jam. Quickly, Roy's comment. I think this has kind of summed it up. Teeny's youth was their biggest enemy. Be interesting to see how they do in a few years. I would love to see Teeny come back. I think Teeny's going to be an amazing addition to the Survivor family. I hope if they do return that every single reward they go on has red wine. But that's just me.
Goblet, chalice.
Yes. And before we get on to, because you kind of mentioned 48, and I do just want to say I already have my first draft pick that I want to pick, but I'm keeping that very secret for now. But we're going to go on a break because afterwards we have our final three to talk about and the final tribal council. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to see what Katie Designs has to say.
Hi, Survivor Now podcast listeners. I am Katie from KT Designs, better known as Katie Tedesco Art on both Instagram and Etsy. I have been designing and selling Survivor products for over 7 years at my Etsy shop, including replicas like hidden immunity idols and Survivor trading cards with all of the players' stats on the back. I am so grateful for Survivor Now for giving me this shout out and helping me reach even more superfans. I love listening to their podcast. So if you are looking for some really unique reality TV products for yourself or to give a superfan in your life, come check out my Etsy shop at www.etsy.com/shop/KatieTedescoArt.com.
I was going to say, go grab some stuff from Katie Tedesco. I will say the winner of the Bracketology Fantasy League has won a custom package from Katie Tedesco, and I believe it was Son of a Bits. Son of a Bits one, so congratulations.
Great name.
I know, me and Randy saw that yesterday, and we were like, got to make sure we say that correctly. So back to the finale. We have our final three: Sue, Sam, and Rachel. Before we get into the final tribal council, which, as we said, spicy, and the back and forths, this final three, what do you think about it? Because I posted on X after I'd watched the episode today. I actually said that I feel like all three of them had a really good game, and I actually think in a different season, both Sam and Sue had potential winning games. So I don't know if I'm just on this sinking ship alone. Hopefully I'm not. But what did you guys kind of think overall about this final three? Thank you so much, Bruce. Clearly I am.
I think you are probably on that sinking ship alone with Sue. Not that, I mean, there's a lot to respect about Sue in her game. I just don't see her in a different era. Maybe in like a different format. Like, I don't know. But in the current format, I think it's really hard. Sam, I do think that if Sam had played, like if Sam, 24, 25-year-old Sam played like in the late 30s, I think there's an even better chance he would have won. He came really close to winning, even like, you know, in the new era with like everything. I do think that, I mean, just looking at like, if you take all the winners from like the late 30s and just stick Sam in there, just he kind of fits in. But I do think that I think that he, like, given how close he came this time, I think that he definitely could have won like in another era or another situation, because like he almost did in this one.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. I really do think Sam, and I'm not just saying this because he was on my draft, I actually do think Sam had a really strong game, and I think he was able to showcase it really well at Final Tribal Council. He kept saying, like, if he makes it to the end, he's able to kind of showcase his game, and I think he did a really good job. Bruce, this final three, thoughts?
I'm stuck. I'm stuck because I'm thinking back to, let's say, like Sue's game. Sue won that individual immunity idol, which is great. Perfect. Thank you, Sue. Absolute sweetheart that she is. But I'm also trying to, we don't know tribe dynamics. We don't know what the internal stuff is. We have no idea, but we can just go off of the edit. And I'm looking at the edit, but actually now I can lump them both together, both Sue and Sam. Sam struggled mightily, and Sue really didn't struggle. She had what I said at the beginning of this whole thing, is that she had the mom edit, and nobody's gonna want to dump your mom out unless, you know, like what was it going? She voted her mom out.
Sierra.
So like that scenario with Sierra voting her mom out, it's her mom. Like, she's still gonna love me. When you're out there and you have your mom figure, you don't want to vote your mom figure out because you want your mom to love you. Like, that's the closest thing to mom. She's talking to you, she's braiding your hair, whatever. She's just giving you words of comfort, whatever. Sam, on the other hand, with his game, like, I saw the things that he did, but it's so tough, like, for him to explain his resume compared to what we saw. Like, what I saw and what he explained for his resume, he didn't have all that much. It wasn't that much, like, stuff. There was strife. He had strife. When Sierra left, I couldn't do anything. I had to latch on to someone, and then here I am. Like, he had to find his way to be able to do that. Now, mind you, so did Rachel, but Rachel got she found the hidden immunity idol. She did so many different things, and then she went on a run with you know, the individual immunities. Like, that's a resume. That's a resume. Take away one of those things, she still had the resume. I don't even think she brought up playing her shot in the dark.
No, she didn't. She
didn't bring up, like, she even, like, every pundit that's out there, everybody that's out there that looks at this and says, you go back to that moment in time, she's looking at everybody. She said it afterwards, but she didn't say it at the final. She said it afterwards, like in one of her confessionals. She gauged the room. Like, that's another piece of it that nobody else thought about. Nobody else thought. I don't think they would have thought about it. So, but, you know, for Rachel and Sue, Rachel and Sue and Sam, it's been a long day. They I don't know. In another season, could they have won? I don't think they could have done better.
Fair enough.
I think that this season was right for them, given both of their age dynamics, completely different side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to know, is it for the final three? Is that the biggest age gap between those two in a final three? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
question.
Yeah, it'd be cool to know.
Possibly, yeah.
But that's as far as they're going to get, and I think in any other season that they play, because other seasons every dynamic is different.
Yeah, me and Josh are both now going.
I know, I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because my brain goes to it'd be like Gabon.
The Bob and Sugar weren't that far apart.
No, that's the only one that kind of sticks in my head. While Josh thinks, I've got some comments in the chat. Roy says, if Sam hadn't made Final Three as the only person to challenge Rachel, would he have gotten so many confessionals? I don't think he had that good of a game. Kind of agrees with you there, Bruce. I can confirm that this season, Sam did get the most confessionals out of everyone. Rachel then got the second. And fun fact, Rachel has gotten the highest edit of a female winner ever. Yes. And Jay.
I like reading through those tea leaves.
Huh?
I like reading through those tea leaves to figure all that stuff out.
Yeah.
Like that does make sense to me.
And Jay, I feel like Rachel has gotten the least personal content out of all the winners in the new era. Even Gabler had more personal contacts. I still feel like Rachel we saw some stuff from Rachel just here and there. And also Jay says Bruce was 550. Telling you, Bruce, you need to go 50. But this final tribal, it was spicy. I loved the back and forth when you had just Rachel volleying and then Sam rebuttaling, and then Rachel would rebuttal, and then one of them would retittle the rebuttal, one would retittle the rebuttal. I just loved that back and forth because you could see how much they wanted it, but also I feel like that was really, they were showing their confidence in a good way. For the most part, I will say that. There was one little thing just at the end I thought Sam could have done better. But I think overall, I loved the fight that they both had. Bruce, I know you kind of wanted to talk about the battle between them both.
So I mentioned this to someone last night, right after the event. I'll tell everybody because, I got to market my own game somehow, some way. And our final tribal council, season 45, I didn't speak. None of my voice was on that final tribal because, this is my own thought. Everything that I said was making them have accountability. Like I wanted to see that and think that because of my edit made it look like I had to be somewhat of the little dad, mild villain, whatever. But I'm sitting there at one point in time, and I'm looking at Austin and I'm looking at Jake, and I'm like, guys, what are you? I said, Jeff, I got a comment. Well, then I said, what are you two doing? D is running away with this thing. I'm looking at the body language of everybody here in the jury, and every time she talks, they're like, oh, say more, sis. And I'm like, you guys are literally letting her run away with this right now because you're not even trying to push back. You're being nice. And then then you'll see me go like this. And that's when Austin starts, for lack of better words, showing his ass a little bit and being like, no, no, you did not do that. And then she's saying, and then I believe that's when the comment, which was switched around about the idol and me not playing my idol from D. Haha. I thought it was hilarious as she said it, but they found the clip that made me go, But another thing about it, so you can get an idea. You know who the top two are going to be because once that one person just kind of, which was Jake, fades away and you don't hear it from Jake and they're just talking about two people going back and forth. It's like you know that's a 0 vote finalist, unfortunately. But that gives you an idea of what the edit's going to be and who's going to win at that moment. So if you're into it, I love it. But yeah, I really do think that, them going back and forth, and I said it earlier, in a respectful way is awesome. It's absolutely awesome because you're fighting for it. It's like I don't know if you guys have any siblings, but I'm going to sit there. I come from a large family. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to argue back and forth with my brothers and sisters. And I have 2 kids, and I love to watch those 2 argue. Go ahead, get it in. Because I don't want somebody coming up to me, guys, just stop arguing. You just be nice to each other. Hell, be nice. You don't have to be nice all the time. Be respectful.
Oh.
You have to be nice. And that's what we got to see on this show.
I was going to say, it's not even siblings. I'll argue with my parents. I don't care. It's hilarious. I love it. Josh, what did you think about this final tribal? Like, we've kind of said it was really spicy, like the back and forth. We did kind of see Sue kind of... just how did you feel like this final tribal council went? We have Jay in the chat saying that he thinks Sam had an all-time great final tribal council performance for a runner-up. Do you kind of agree? How do you feel like not just Sam but everyone did?
Yeah, I mean, I feel for Sue. Like, she said in her exit interviews today, like, she could tell that it was all about like Sam and Rachel, so she knew she didn't really have a shot. Yeah, and just like, I don't know, I'm never ever going to be on board with like having 3 people face the jury, like, just because, like, for many reasons. One of them is like, it's never competitive between all 3. It never has been, never will be. That being said, I did find the Sam versus Rachel pretty compelling, because at first I was like, I think I was comparing it to last season, right? When the way they were showing it, it's like everything Kenzie was saying was really striking a chord with the jury, and like a lot of things that Charlie was saying were kind of falling flat. And that was where it was like, okay, even though they both have like strong games to back it up on, it seems like Kenzie's like landing with the jury more. So I was watching that. At first, I'm like, okay, yeah, Rachel seems to be landing with the jury pretty well, but then Sam also said some really good things that like countered what she said really well, and I loved the back and forth between the 2 of them. I think that is one pro of this new jury format, where it's more of like an open forum, watching them go back and forth with each other and defend their games well. Was cool because Sam, yeah, he did a great job. It was short. I felt like it was from start to finish, like from the opening jury question to the end of the final speeches, it was 15 minutes, which, like, I don't know, maybe that's a long time, but it felt like it went by really fast. I know there was like a lot more that could have been said.
No, I agree. I feel like, I don't know whether it just felt shorter, or even because I didn't know how long it was, but I don't even know if there was like
I rewatched it before this, and it was 15 minutes.
See, that feels like a long time, but then I agree with you. I felt like there was like some dead air moments then in that case.
Yeah.
I agree with you on kind of like the back and forth. I thought Sam's best moment was when him and Rachel were going at it for like the 14th time. And it was, he kind of then went, he went for her kind of strategic and social capital, and kind of went, well, actually, how do you not realize I'm the only one to vote correctly every single time. You're talking about being a massive threat. You never had your name written down. I had my name written down 9 times, and he like did all these stats, and I was like, oh, because if I was on the jury, I would have listened to that and gone, yeah, you can't really say, like, I'd look at you and go, Bruce.
I have to raise my hand to get ultimate attention.
I do it all the time.
Only one person on the jury bought that shit. Only one person. It was Andy. He was trying to get it, like, that was it. Everybody else, like, I think Saul was like, cool. Like, who else? Sierra was cool. Like, good job. Big brain on you, because he already said it. He's like, Andy said it. Andy was like, I'm a super fan, and you're a super fan, saying it to Sam. Like, was it Sam?
Rachel.
He said it's Rachel.
Rachel. So then I think Rachel was like, kudos, good job knowing those numbers. That's awesome. And then, but it was only really working, I think, on Sam. Kyle was like, who keeps track of all this? Like, that's what I think in my mind, and looking at who's on the jury. But you take stock in what it is that you do, and how many, like, I never took stock in, didn't really go to tribal all that much, but I didn't take stock on who was voting for me and against me. I know it was like after we got back from tribals, like, who can I talk to work on X, Y, and Z? And then if it worked out, it worked out. If it didn't work out, then you try and find another way. But him going back and forth with Rachel, he had valid points. Valid points, but it's almost like he throws out, a king of clubs, and she throws out an ace of diamonds. Damn it. He throws out a jack of hearts, and she just one-ups him with a queen of diamonds. She just had the one-up ability on him, and like you were saying, resonating. Everything resonated with when Rachel spoke. It's just kind of funny how, because Rachel was just like, I did this and blah, blah, blah. And does anybody remember when anyone, all right, so Andy, blah, blah, blah. Andy said something to Rachel. I forgot what he called it. I'm just going to make it up. Ray. And she's like, Andy, and like, and Sierra said something to her, and she's like, Cece, like, those kind of things brings you right back to when Jam Jam won. Jam Jam had everybody rolling in their friggin' seats, no matter what. Like, he had them laughing.
Yeah.
And that takes the guard down for everybody. But when it's unfortunate, some guys don't want to do that. They don't want to do it. And it's like, well, I did this, and this is what I did. Not to say Sam was that brazen, but it's like, this is what I did, and you did that? No, you didn't. And people are like, well, yes, you did. And then that helps make their decision. So I don't know. I think he came across, he had his good points.
Yes.
I think the feeling, now that we start getting into it, the feeling that people start having is like, okay, like I got you, but
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I do think for the most part that Rachel was very much easily able to one-up him. I will say, because I mentioned that there was one kind of thing that I felt like he did at the end, and it was either during the closing or it was like the final question before the closing. He brought up kind of Rachel, the fact that Rachel went on an immunity win, and I've got the quotes somewhere on my notes. I thought I had it somewhere. But he kind of dismissed her in the sense of like talking like he didn't have to just rely on an immunity run and idols. And I thought, that's where you've lost it. Because I think at that point he then just started talking. He started focusing too much on her game and not his game. And I think that's where I kind of like it lost it for me. And I was just sat there like, well, at least he got second.
Because he had said something along the lines too. Like she was like, I don't remember the names. I needed these two, and then it was a 3. Then I needed these 2, and then it was 3. But now it's 5 total. And it's like, okay, so, and then he's like, well, you needed all that, and I didn't. Bro, it doesn't you weren't a threat. But it doesn't matter if you're a threat at that point in time. It's a way to insulate yourself from the threats.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is, and get a little bit of a thumb on what's going on with the people, what's going on around you. So it was, what I'm gonna say, I've never used this phrase, but she put out a masterclass. It was a masterclass on how to play this game from start to finish. Get your ass kicked, come back, have nothing, be saved, and be like, okay, that's now we're playing the game, and then go on and run.
Yeah. She really was super adaptable and resilient, and like, I don't know, just did what she had to do, whether it was from the top or the bottom. I was thinking of how, as I was listening to her interview today, like last season, right before the merge, it was Mariah from the Green Tribe who got left out of the vote and just kind of like tried to stick with them, ultimately like floundered a little bit and got voted out pretty much unanimously. No shade to Mariah. I'm sure, it was a tough position, whatever. Yeah. Rachel, same thing happened. Like the day before the merge, got left out of the vote, and it was like, oh shoot, like this just happened last season. Like, I don't know how well this is going to go. And then there was a couple other times that, Rachel got knocked down and had to pick herself back up again. And like, I don't know, go on this like really unprecedented run that it was tough. I mean, yeah, I think like not all those women who won 4 challenges, like not all of them were like did it all in a row, or did it when like their back was up against a wall every single time, or like taking down a huge like other challenge beast like Kyle. She did a lot of different things that she had to do when it was required of her. And it was like some of it, yes, was defensive or reactive, but she still like did what she had to do. And I think that is just so impressive.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I agree. We've got some comments in the chat. Roy says, I think Rachel is the most deserving winner of the new era. However, he does think the 7-1 vote makes him think that the jury kind of piled instead of thinking for their own minds. There is no one right or wrong way to think about that one. And we've got a couple of questions for Bruce. So Bruce, sorry, I know I know you're tired, but you've got some talking to do. I'm so sorry. First one is from Jay. He asks, if someone isn't being asked questions as a finalist, like Jake or a Sue, would the jury be okay with them asserting themselves and presenting their case, or would it be seen as rude?
No, not at all. Not at all, because what you're looking at is you're trying to win $1 million. And like Sue had said, she felt the questions going away from her and the kind of, hand on one knee, sit back and just watch the show. But people don't realize that when you're at Ponderosa and you're waiting to go to tribal and everything like that, and the questions and the conversations that are happening behind the scenes, like, people are really making up their minds. There are a lot of people that go into the final tribal and their mind is already made up, and it's not going to be changed by somebody interjecting in a conversation. So if Sue popped up and said, no, this is how this happened in X, Y, and Z. Oh, okay, she might change one. She might catch a stray off of that, but there's no harm in that. There's no harm in coming in and doing what you want to do to get your voice heard a little bit. As far as for the I think that at this point in time, the pylon, meaning the 7-1, that wasn't a pack mentality type thing. Pack mentality stuff is like, at the beginning of the merge, you don't want to be on the wrong side of the vote because you want to stick around in the game. They recognized game. They recognized game, and with doing that, like, they, kudos to them. They did what they had to do. So it made the most sense. Even like with my season, if one vote would have went a different way, we would have had a tie. With Austin and D.
Very true.
And and I just know one person. I'll just keep my mouth shut.
You're going okay. I was going to say, I just intend to interject as well. I do think this jury were not bitterer. Like, we've seen some bitter juries,
It's refreshing to see.
Yeah,
it really is. Like, I want to say Ponderosa was probably a happy moment, and going back and forth from Ponderosa was a happy moment for them, and they all got together afterwards, and like they showed on the the after party or whatever that they had there, and it was like it's you can tell if somebody's like, I absolutely hate you, and I don't think that Sue really has a bone to pick with Kyle. I think that they made the defense and they're good to go. You're not eating, you're whatever, like that aspect of it makes everybody annoying. There are some people that bring outside garbage into the game, and then that makes the anger stay. But I think that they're all good. I really do. I hope that they are.
I think they are. Jay also agrees. Definitely wasn't a better jury. Roy does have another question for you. Okay. The first part was, I wasn't a fan of you during your season, but have really come to like you from the podcast. Do you think you got a bad edit?
All right. So again, I was at this event last night, and somebody actually asked me that. They asked me if I had a bad edit for my season, and I'm just like, you know what? No, I didn't have. My edit was not bad by way of. If you go back and look, take out the shit that was being talked by, in particular, one person. Take that out, right? Mm-hmm. Then the edit changes, because then you don't have the things of because it's one of those things. You have one person, and it wasn't happening just as of the edit. It was happening on the island. So once that one person, then other people start dogpiling on top. You're not going to hear the Bruce is annoying. You're not going to hear this, that, and the other. Like, because in my mind, the annoying part of me was something that people saw in their everyday life. Like, think about you guys. Think about when you were 22, 23 years old, and your dad would be like, "Yeah, what's up, bud?" And you're like, "Oh, this idiot!" Like, you don't want to be around your dad. Like, it is what it is, and that's how they viewed me. Perfectly fine. Go right ahead. My edit. I wish it would have showed more of the things that I did to move our tribe forward. There was a lot of stuff that I did do to move the tribe forward, and they didn't. But I don't think that there was a bad edit because there's a story to tell. I will never fault them for that. If the story is one person was going through what she was going through, they wanted to try to help her through it, give her a little bit of life. She had a lot of conversations about the game and how she wanted the game to go this and another thing, according to her, but the edit was this. So if I'm a part of that, but they still show what I'm doing, which they did, I'm fine. A bad edit for me would have been like, me bossing everybody around and this and like that would have been the bad edit, which never happened. So thank you for that question.
I will say, as someone that absolutely loved you from start to finish on 45, don't look at the recaps. I do love you. Really.
I'm going to roll my eyes so long I'm going to fall asleep.
Jay says, speaking of Bruce's edit, apparently Drew did come to your defense, so don't worry. You've got some people on your defense there. But back to 47, obviously. We have the votes, and we kind of were already talking about her anyway. Rachel wins 7-1-0. Kyle votes for Sam. Everyone else votes for Rachel. How are we feeling about this win? I think we can all agree it's deserved. Where do we see Rachel within these winners' rankings? Some people are saying she's one of the best to have ever done it, one of the most dominant games. I've even seen some people be like she was boring. Don't agree with it. So where does she kind of fall for you in terms of how she played this game? I'm going to go to Josh first.
I don't think you can necessarily... dominant feels like a bit of a stretch to me.
Yeah.
Dominant, I think, like Kim Spradlin. I think Natalie Anderson. I think Boston Rob. Like, really just taking things. Yeah, go ahead. I
was going to say me and who's the person that I podcast with? Matthew. Love you. We have to remember it's late for me. We were trying to figure out how we worded her game. We went with advantageous.
Yeah.
That's how we described her game. We think that she had a really advantageous game. Sorry, you keep going, Josh.
No. Yeah. So I think dominant she was like great in the challenges, especially towards the end, like a really, really impressive run. I know, Shannon Gus from RHAP, she put out this really great thread on Twitter or on Blue Sky or Twitter about how, she played an amazing underdog game. Because so much of it was like responding to like the adversity she faced and responding to like getting knocked down. I think that she adapted really well and rolled with the punches like really, really well. And again, like there have been men, and I guess Jenna Maraska at the end too also needed to like beast out on competitions to win. But I think mostly it's like men who do the thing where they need to like win a bunch of competitions in a row to like make the final and then win the jury vote. So I think it was really fun and cool to watch her as like a more like strategically minded, like crafty, calculating woman, like do that, like win 4 of the final 5 challenges. That was great. It was impressive. She did what she needed to do. I think as far as the new era goes, I'd probably put her probably around the middle of the pack. I think D is easily the best winner of the new era, and I think that I don't know. I personally really like Marianne's win a lot. I thought Erica's win was really good. Jam was really good. I think so. Yeah, I think comparing her to other winners, I think because it was more defensive and reactive, like. I think that it's not as I don't know. That I don't even want to say it like knocks it down, but it didn't feel as like I don't know. In some ways, you could, I guess, make the argument that like because it was like she was going from her plan B, C, D, and still like made it work. That's like more impressive. But I do think that like having the number of times where it's like, oh, she doesn't win immunity, she's gone, is like, I think it's good that she did it, but I think compared to other winners that maybe showed some more like control and I don't know, agency, like in all things, and pulled off some more impressive moves. Like I think that she's not quite at that level, but I still think I was very impressed with her win and was rooting for her pretty much ever since Caroline went home. I was rooting for her, so I think that she's probably around the middle, higher end of the middle, maybe as far as winners go. But it was really fun to watch, no matter what.
Yeah, Bruce.
Who is Kenzie in the final three with?
With Charlie
Kenzie.
and Ben.
Yeah.
Okay. And Dee was in the final three with Jake and Austin.
Yep. I was going to say, I hope you'd remember that. You were there.
And you can go, excuse me, you can go down the line for the winners of the new era. I think, and I'm very, very confident that Rachel is the best winner of the new era so far. I love Dee to death. She was on my season. I love Jam to death as well. He was on, my 1/10 of a season. I love him to death. I really do. Everybody else. Please, if you listen, you should be listening anyway. And if you listen and if you know them, let them watch this. The fact of the matter is that in my mind, it's my opinion. This is my opinion. It is not law. That Rachel did the things that her back was against the wall for a very long period of time. And every time that she had a feeling that she was going to be gone, she did the things that she needed to do to stay. And that's what helps you garner the ability. Garner the ability to get respect from people that are on the jury. Now, not to say that all the other winners didn't get respect because they got votes. They had to. They had to have some kind of respect in that and how they played the game. And I'll go back to Dee. And again, Dee, love you to death. Anybody knows Dee, have watched this, she's going to be like, oh, Bruce is just speaking his mind because that's what Bruce does. Dee had four locked-in people to bring her along. And she manipulated them, yes. And she got them to do her bidding, yes. And I completely appreciate that. But she had that locked and loaded structure to bring her to that level. And then they had to cannibalize each other. Oh, they took one person out before they cannibalized everybody else. Fine. Like, she was a mastermind with that. She had a great time, and she did it very well. She won $1 million and amazing human being. Rachel didn't have that. She lost what she had. And then she was about to go away. And then she could have brought something, like somebody else saw something in her. Oh my God. Somebody said to me last night, you're magnetic. People want to come and want to talk to you this and the other. I'm like, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I'm like my cheeks are getting red because it was cute and humbling at the same time. Like, oh my God, this is awesome. She had that with Saul. She was gone. Saul saw something that he thought that was going to better his game. She got saved by him. Thank you very much. And then you woke her up and used every single piece of her advantages that she could have and her skill set to get her to that spot. So find me, and I'd be more than happy to be shut the hell up by this, but find me somebody else that went through the same level of adversity, was resilient, not advantageous. My wife is like, oh, she's so lucky she's getting all this. She was resilient. She did the things that needed to be done to get her to the spot that she was at every single freaking time. And then the one thing that I loved the most was when Andy was talking his mad shit to her. Oh, this is what I'm going to say in my final thing. And she just sat there. Like, she could have got up and walked away and be like, oh, I hate you, and knowing her thing and like shed a baby crocodile tears and walked away. She didn't do that. She listened to him. So what happened? Who did Andy vote for? Her. Like,
sorry, was this final six or was this final tribal council?
What do you mean?
You're talking about final six before he got voted out, right, Bruce?
Yeah.
Yeah, before I brought it out. Yes.
Okay,
well, yeah, before, when Andy was talking, talking junk. Yeah, when they're on the hammock, and Andy's like, I'm gonna vote now because of this, and I'm gonna do this. This is what I did. Like,
I didn't know whether you were talking about when he threw the shots at Mike and Ben. I thought that. No, that's fine. We have got some comments in the chat as per usual. Jay's got his list. He's got D, Jam, Marianne, Erica, Kenzie, Rachel, Gabler, and then Roy's kind of flipped it. Marianne, Gabler, Rachel, D, Jam, Kenzie didn't watch Erica's season. We all know me. We all know my opinion. I'm going to love all the women. Kenzie's my fave. But we have now finished Survivor 47. Brief, quick words. The overall season. How was this season for you?
I have a hard time answering this question until a few months pass and you get to see some more people, and then you get it when dust all settles and you feel like, okay, yeah, this is how I feel about that season. Because there's some that I'm like, I don't really know about it, but then afterwards it's like, oh, I really like it. But then also on the flip side, there's some like when you're watching it, it's like, oh, this is fine. But then afterwards you're like, oh, actually, I don't really care about anything that happened there. So that being said, I do think this season was pretty solid as far as modern seasons go.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, seasons with Final Four final ranking are always going to start with a handicap because I think that does limit how good it can be. But I think given that, I think it was pretty good all the way through, really consistent. It was fun. The cast was great. A lot of people to like, a lot of people to root for. Nobody who's like, oh my gosh, can you get rid of them? What are they still doing here? Not.
I was going to say, you're sure about that.
I mean, it didn't really last very long, so it's okay. But so
no way to talk about John Lovett.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I think that it was a really solid season the whole way through. I put this thread out there on Blue Sky today saying ranking all of them. Right now I'd put it third best in the new era behind 42 and 45. So I enjoyed it the whole way through. Yeah, 45. I think the winner storyline and how it goes through to the end really does carry a lot of weight for me. And so having Rachel go on her tear at the end and have that be a fun, satisfying exclamation point way to end the season was really fun. But also it wasn't just she was a challenge piece and that was that. There was a lot more to her game. But I think it was a clear, from final 8 or so on. It's oh yeah, I can see how this is Rachel's story.
Yeah.
And that elevates the season a lot for me. Plus there's a lot of people from the cast who I really, really liked. People who I didn't expect to but ended up liking a lot, or people who there's a lot to enjoy here. So right now, third best in the new era for me.
Nice. Okay, Bruce.
One of the things that I loved about this season is that I was able to sit back and be like, oh, I was at that spot. I was at that spot. I've been right there. Holy shit. I remember that. Why didn't I climb up on that rock like Sam did? And he's standing up there like Superman. Wow, I want to get on that rock. That's what I fell back to a lot this season. I was able to relate with them in regards to what they were going through. And I did it in 46 as well, but I was able to relate with them by way of this season and the strife that they went through and the struggle. Because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Again, yes, I really do see myself in this off season going back to 41 and watching 41 and 47 and getting an idea. Just run it concurrently just so I can kind of see how things go. The reason why, as of right now, with everything that I know and everything that I've seen, yes, 45 in my heart is going to stay number one is my best season. But as far as for 47 is really, really, really close. And here's my reasoning behind it. Production sits there and says, okay, When Is It Wall shows up, we don't have to really do anything. They're going to take the reins and go from there. We're going to just add some stuff in there just to mess them up. 41 shows up, completely flips everything on its head, and the production's like, what? Okay, we're trying. And then 42, they're like, okay, we're getting a little better. 43, I think we got it. 44, we're good. 45, 46, 47, we're good. 46, and personalities weren't really there, but whatever. Like, we'll put the product out. And then 47, it's like, we got it.
46 didn't have the personalities.
46 had quite a bit of personalities.
But what I'm talking about, the personalities by way of what makes his game so special.
Right.
Like,
okay.
I think there was something missing because there's like that much strife. Like, there's only supposed to be 3 antagonists, 1 on each tribe. There was like 9. Like, what the hell? Everybody's crazy. Like, it just sucks.
That's fair.
But now it's like they have it. They have it. It's good, and they're gonna extend it to 40 to 48, and it's gonna be good. And then 49, they're gonna f it up.
No,
they're gonna give us something. It's gonna be like, oh my god, no! And then they're gonna get to 50, and the hype is gonna be. Hopefully, it's gonna be real. It's gonna be good to go, and then from there. But I'm really thinking that they have the special sauce going on right now. With what they've been doing, there were a lot of different little challenges that were going on. The wrinkles weren't all that bad. I know in 45, like we didn't have all the BS that they had in 44. Like, holy crap, that was a lot of stuff. Like when there's 6 idols sitting up there at one point in time, like what the hell is going on?
Yeah,
but
so much.
They're keeping the new era stuff, sprinkling in a little bit of stuff that made it work. The only thing that I really would love to see them do going forward is. I know that you want to take a look at your demographics and see who's watching this show and keep true to what's making me as a 48-year-old look at my kids and say, yo, Survivor's on. And we sit down and watch them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I completely agree with what both of you said. I think this has definitely been a solid season. I think I don't know where it lands just yet because I think I don't think you can compare 46 and 47 because they are 2 completely different seasons. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Bruce, like the dynamics that 46 had compared to kind of I feel like there was more kind of personalities and there was more social things going on 46, whereas 47 had all the strategic drama. So I'd have to wait and see, but I still think this is a solid season. I think this entire cast give them their props because they did well. And I do think this is a season that people, if you're trying to introduce people, this could be an easy season to be like, just watch this. It gives you an idea of what the game is supposed to be. And then you can kind of go from there and see all these other people. We have got Jay saying this is his season rankings. And Roy thinks, has the hype around 50 doomed it to be a disappointment? I'm going to sit there and say, no, I don't think so.
50-50 for me.
50-50 for season 50.
50-50 for 50.
50-50 for 50.
Yeah. Well, I hope that they blow it out of the water. Like 40 drove me nuts. I loved it. I love 40 to see these.
I think they will.
But I know that they're gonna have some big things for 50. I think the hype is more because I read into stuff now. But I think that 50 should be a banger. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think the hype is so high because we've been so deprived of like fraternity seasons for so long. That for like most of the shows run, they were spitting them out every few seasons, and now it's like. Yeah. It's been so long, and especially if we take Winners at War, which was like only winners, like so any non-winners haven't been eligible to return since season 34, which is like a really long time ago. Yeah, so I think that's kind of why we're in a really unique spot as far as like returning seasons go, and the hype and expectations around them. So
was that like 9 years ago?
Yeah,
it would have been. It aired spring of 2017, so almost 8 years ago.
Almost 8 years ago. Yeah, and considering in the last, obviously with this new era, the one returnee right there. But thank you, gentlemen. This has been an absolute blast. I've enjoyed doing the after show this time.
Second on the draft.
Oh yeah, we need to check in on the draft. So we need to give a big congratulations to Abe. Congratulations, you won for a second time, not in a row. But no, Abe has won this season's draft by, funny enough, drafting the winner as his last pick.
17th pick overall. Rachel,
17th pick overall.
The Tom Brady of this draft.
We've got to remember, this draft, literally, the last 2 picks were the first boot and the winner. So I have feelings about that because I got the first boot, but that's fine by me. But also congratulations to Tegwith on coming second. I believe Cara came third, Bruce came fourth, and then me and Josh were there having a lovely time. But that was the draft,
Not my year.
Exactly.
I would trust me. Given what I knew, I'd pick all 3 of them again. If all 3 of them were to play returning seasons, I would pick all 3 of them again. Especially, all 3 of them.
I mean, I only had 2 picks, but I'd still pick those 2. And then I would tell Abe, no, let me have this person. You've got to have this person. That's what I would do. But we are going to wrap things up now. We are just going to let you know what is happening throughout this week. So with Survivor Now, we have got a load of content. We're going to put this here. We have got Survivor Stockwatch, Survivor Social, and Got Something For You happening this week. Times and days will be to be determined. I can confirm that Got Something For You, as far as I'm aware, will still be Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. So you should go check that out because we are going to be doing a huge talk about everything, all of the social media, and we might have a special guest, but that's to wait and see. Survivor Social and Survivor Stockwatch, keep an eye on our social medias for when that is. But just remember, guys, I know we are about to go on our off season, but we just want to remind you, as we do at the end of every show, we have a Patreon. So please go subscribe to it. In the new year, we will be doing more on there. We've already got some amazing content on there, touchy subjects, interviews with Castaways coach Leilani from the UK. It's all on there. It's worth the payment and to go to watch. We also have our merch. I hear the sweaters and the hoodies are very good. And hopefully, Bruce, you've got one coming in as a Christmas thing. So then for the rest of next year, you can start doing that with all our merch. And then we follow us on Instagram and X. We are going to be getting a Blue Sky account. I've heckled Randy too many times for that. In the new year, we will be getting a Blue Sky account. So don't worry. And remember to like and subscribe, please. Like the videos, it helps with our content. And please remember to subscribe so you can listen to all of what we do, all of our shows, and all of our previous content. But that is Survivor Now, a podcast for the fans, by the fans. Gentlemen, I just want to thank you once again. It has been such a joy. Hopefully you preferred me to Randy, but that's just my ego talking. But I hope you guys have a lovely Christmas break. And I hope everyone watching, thank you for watching. Thank you for putting it in the chat. And we will see you guys next year for Survivor 48. See you guys soon.